Welcome back to the channel. The warning nobody took serious. They are not coming to live in peace. They are coming to take the land, the power, and the people. These are the exact words once spoken by Nnamdi Kanu. Many laugh. Some said it was spreading fear. But years later, it is no longer just a warning. It is a reality playing out. Slowly, and the signs are everywhere. If you look closely, across the southeast, especially in Igbo land, strange things are happening. Entire communities are under pressure. Farmers are afraid to go to their farm, their own farm. Markets are no longer safe. Villages that were once peaceful are now filled with tension. And the people causing this problem, they are not being arrested. They are not being stopped. In fact, it looks like someone is covering for them. How did we get here? For over a decade, Fulani herdsmen have been involved in violent clashes across the country, especially in the Middle Belt and the Southeast. But these are not just ordinary clashes over grasses or cattle. They have become full-blown community attacks, leading to pine destruction and people running from their homes. And yet, there is almost no serious punishment. No serious punishment. Now, it has moved from Benue to Ebonyi, to Enugu, to Anambra, and people are beginning to whisper the same thing Nnamdi Kanu shouted years ago. This is not a coincidence. It is a quiet takeover. Still, the media hardly reports it the way it truly is. They call it farmer-herder conflict. But is it really a conflict? When one side is armed and the other side is only farming. In this video, we are going to reveal 15 shocking truths about what is really going on. You will see the pattern, the silence, and the strategy behind it all. So, before you judge, what is this? I ask you to do one thing. Watch till the end. Because by the time we get to the end, even the biggest doctors will agree something serious is happening in Biafra land. And it is being ignored on purpose. If you believe the truth must be heard, like this video, drop a comment and share it right now before it gets buried. When the protectors look the other way. Imagine this, your village is under attack. You call the police, you shout for help, but help doesn't come. Or worse, they come after the destruction is already done. This is the painful story that many communities in Benue, Enugu, and Ebonyi have lived through. In some areas, security forces arrive hours after the attacks have fled. In others, they dismiss the victims as exaggerating. But why? Some say there is fear of touching the attackers because of powerful northern backers. Others believe there is a plan to weaken resistance in these areas by allowing fear to grow unchecked. This raises the question, who is really being protected? If people cannot trust those sent to defend them, what options are left? You can't form a community guide that gets banned. You can't carry arms to protect your land that gets labeled illegal. All you can do is run. Run. And what they say is the exact plan to make you too afraid to stay. Displacement through fear. Every time there is an attack, people flee. And when they flee, they don't come back quickly. They leave behind homes, farms, and land. That land slowly gets occupied by others. In parts of Ebonyi and Enugu, we now have abandoned farmlands and desert communities, and in some of these places, Fulani herdsmen have been sighted moving in. There is no gun to your head, but you are forced out. That is how this works. Displacement through fear is not loud. It doesn't make front page news, but it changed the land permanently. One day you wake up and your ancestral land is no longer yours. It is under someone else's control, and you are too afraid to speak. This isn't a war with guns. This is a war of silence and strategy. Who speaks for the Southeast? Now, let's talk about the leadership. Where are the governors? Where are the senators? Where are the traditional rulers when these attacks happen? Yes, they condemn the violence, but where is the action? In many cases, Southeast leaders are too afraid to speak. Boldly, they fear being accused of tribalism or sedition, so they kept quiet or give speeches that do nothing. Meanwhile, there are people are dying, running, or watching their land disappear. Compare this to other regions where governors mobilize local security groups. In the West, Amotekun was formed to protect Yoruba land. In the North, Vigilantes operate freely, but in the Southeast, every attempt to defend the people is crushed. Even Ebube Agu, the so-called regional forces, has no teeth. Why? Why are Southeast leaders powerless or unwilling to defend their own people? If you believe Southeast governors must rise up now, hit the like button and let the world hear your voice. Nnamdi Kanu's message was clear long before the attacks became frequent. Nnamdi Kanu warned that a plan was in motion. He said, "They will come, they will bind you, and the world will say nothing." At the time, many laughed. Today, those same people are silent. Kanu's message was not about it. It was about alerting his people to the dangers of silence. He called for self-defense. He asked the people to organize, not to attack, but to be ready to protect their homes. But what happened? He was labeled a terrorist. His group was banned, and now he sits in detention while the exact things he warned about are unfolding. Some say it was controversial, others say it was dramatic, but today many agree it was right. Why the media refuses to say the truth? Every time these attacks happen, the news say the same things: clashes between herdsmen and farmers. But let's pause. Are these really clashes, or are they attacks on unarmed people? The language is designed to confuse you. If they call it clash, then nobody is the victim. But we know the truth. The people being banned are not going to battle. They are farming. They are sleeping in their homes. The media play a dangerous role. Instead of telling the truth, they water it down. Why? Because in Nigeria, there are scared cows. They are groups that must not be criticized too loudly. And so, even when people buy in dozens, the news stay careful. This silence helps the attackers. And those who dare to speak, like Kanu, are punished, while the real aggressors move freely. Fulani settlements are expanding quietly. In many Southeast states, reports have surfaced of new Fulani settlements appearing overnight. These are not old communities. These are newly formed clusters near forests, rivers, and roads. No one knows who approved them. No one knows who supplied them, but they grow steadily. In some areas, locals have raised alarm, only to be told that everyone has the right to live anywhere. And yes, under law, Nigeria are free to move. But when that freedom comes with violence, fear, and domination, it becomes something else. It becomes a tool for takeover. Today, it is a tent. Tomorrow, it is a colony. And then one day, the original owners can't even access their own land. Attacks come in waves, then calm. Another pattern is clear. These attackers don't happen every day. They come in waves. A village is attacked. People are crying. The nation reacts with anger, then silence returns. The tension drops. And just when people begin to forget, another attack happens. Why this pattern? Because the goal is not to destroy all at once. The goal is to create constant fear. Enough to keep people on edge, but not enough to cause full national outrage. This is physiological warfare. It works slowly. It doesn't seek headlines. It seeks surrender, religious silence, or strategic politics. The Southeast is mostly Christian. The attackers are mostly from a different religion, but very few religious leaders are speaking clearly about what is happening. Why? Some fear being accused of causing division. Others fear their churches will be targeted. But if the pulpit becomes silent while the people bleed, then what is the role of the church? This silence is part of the problem. The people are crying, and yet those in spiritual and moral positions remain quiet. In truth, it is not silence, it is complicity. Comment below, should religious leaders be speaking more about what is happening in the Southeast? Why Benue matters to Biafra land? Let's take a look at what is happening in Benway State. Even though it's not part of Biafra land, Benue has faces one of the worst herdsmen attacks in Nigeria history. Entire villages have been wiped out. Over 2 million people have been forced to live in IDP camps. And what do these people have in common with those in the Southeast? They are farmers. They resisted land grabbing, and now they are paying the price. This matters to Biafra land because Benue is the warning. What happening in Benue can happen in Abia, in Anambra, in Imo, in Ebonyi. The strategy is the same. Enter, settle, strike, and dominate. The media call it clashes, but the people in Benue know the truth. This is displacement through violence. Biafra land must not wait until the same numbers hit us before we speak. Benue is the alarm bell. Yes, alarm bell. And we must listen before it's too late. Why community vigilantes are being crushed? In many villages across the Southeast, youths try to defend themselves. They form vigilante groups, not to attack anyone, but to watch their own forests, protect their farms, and protect their mothers and fathers. But what happened? Some of them were labeled militants, others were hunted down, and some were arrested. At the same time, Fulani groups move freely with cattle, weapons. They are not stopped, they are not arrested. No one calls them terrorists. This is the double standard. They say no one should carry arms, but the truth is only one side is punished for doing so. The other side is protected, even praised. The government say they want peace, but how can peace exist where only one side has the right to defend itself? This is not peace. This is a quiet surrender force on the people. Land is power, and it is slipping away. Let's not forget what this really about. Land is more than sand. It is history, it is family, it is survival, it is identity. When people are removed from their land, their future is removed too. Once a village is attacked and the people flee, the land is left open. The attackers don't need to fight again. They just wait. After some time, they begin to settle. And when that settlement grows, it becomes permanent. Years later, they say this is our home now. And it is too late to change anything. If this keep happening across the southeast, then Biafra land will no longer belong to Biafrans. Not because of war, but because of silence. If you believe every community must protect their land before it is too late, share this video now. Let others know what is really happening. Who is benefits from the silence? Every time you hear silence from leaders, silence from the press, silence from the police, ask yourself, who gain from this? The people losing their land? No. The farmers who are buying? No. But there is someone somewhere who is watching this unfold and smiling. They gain land, they gain control, they gain access to roads, forests, rivers, and even politics. Silence is not just a mistake, it is a tool. When powerful people stay silent while their people suffer, then they are no longer leaders, they are actors in the games. And the truth is, not everyone is asleep. Some people know what is happening, but they are choosing their side, and it is not the side of the people. The time to speak is now. If you have watched this far, then you are already know the truth. You have seen the sign. You have heard the facts. You have felt the pain. This is not just a theory. It is not a tribal complaint. This is a real situation affecting real people, happening right now in real communities. The question is, what will you do with this truth? We are not calling for hate. We are not calling for war. But we are calling for awareness, for bold voices, and for community unity. Nnamdi Kanu tries to raise this alarm. He was punished. But now the people must carry the message, not with violence, but with truth. With videos like this and with unshakable unity. The next village could be yours. The next farmland could be your father's. The next silence could cost us everything. Very important. Like this video. Comment below. Where are you watching from? Share this with at least 5 people in your community. Subscribe if you want more truth the media won't say. Join the movement of awareness before it is too late.